Hello, everyone. I'm Bev and I with Wild and Wise Women, and I'm joined this evening for me, and Jen, you'll have to tell us what time it is there, but joining us from Taiwan is Jen Yang, one of our amazing, awesome 10 authors who have unleashed their wild in this new collaborative book that's going to be published, ready to go very soon. So welcome, Jen. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much, Beth. It's actually 9:30 a.m. here.
Okay.
I love to actually give a confession here because so last week I had a rough week because a friend suddenly passed away out of expectation, of course. And
Wow.
I was totally caught off guard. And this one ego thing came into me. It was like, maybe you want to talk to Bev, like, to reschedule this interview, And then I caught myself doing that. I was like, wow, hold on a sec. This is a pattern. It's okay for me to feel safe, to be me, to be where I am, because this is part of my soul's path. It's okay to be vulnerable or however I'm showing up. So I was like, this is an opportunity to break my pattern. And talking about ancestral lineage healing, we carry a lot of those from the previous generations. However it flew to our, to our blood. So I'm just very, very honored to just share the moment with you. I'm here, I'm breathing, I'm alive, I'm present. Thank you.
Oh, how beautiful, Jen. Thank you. Oh, that is absolutely some of what we really need in the world right now, to know that, whatever's going on, and there's a lot going on in everyone's life, and some of it is very joyful and some of it is very tearful. And at the same time, it is part of life. And so to be able to show up, even in the face of loss, even in the face of grief, even in the face of, remembering. And that's just so beautiful. So thank you so much. And I love that you come in here with this vulnerability, because that's what we're talking about too, is how we can be more and more vulnerable. And breaking patterns is absolutely a great way, when we notice that they're there, and then breaking them. So share with us a little bit about your story, that you have had the courage and the willingness to share with other women, to inspire them about, yes, the generational and other kinds of issues. Because a lot of times I know in my work with my generational legacy issues, it was like, why do I feel this way? Where does this come from? It's not even part of my path, or it didn't feel like it, and yet it has been. So please talk to us a little bit about your story.
So I would love to refer to this inspiration of what this beautiful man, I don't know if you know him, a Vietnamese activist, peace activist, Thich Nhat Hanh. Yeah, the Vietnamese, of course, right? Yeah, so he talked about like the wounded child presents in many generations. And our mothers may have already suffered throughout all her life. Our father do too. And needless to say, the generations before them, right? And then they have no capacity at the time to really look after their own wounded child. So compared to them, I mean, we are way luckier. We're way luckier to really have all those resources, abundance of resources to support us to do the inner healing. And so being willing to learn about, it's okay to feel sad, it's okay to feel angry, it's okay to feel however you feel. It's the inner child that wants to communicate with you. Mm-hmm. So ever since I have gotten on this path of transformation, it's all a lot to do with the inner child healing. So I feel like, that when we allow ourselves to embrace that inner child, that wounded little kid inside of ourselves, we are embracing those wounded child in many generations, past generations, or probably even beyond bloodline. I don't know, Yeah.
Beautiful. Absolutely. I absolutely know that this is true. And I've seen, there are a lot of people out there doing this kind of work. Thank goodness, because we are in the time when when really, you're right, we have the resources and even the capacity to do some of the healing for those who have come before us. And they didn't have that capacity. They may not have had the opportunities because of their life and what was going on. And we have that capacity to do that. And I believe that a lot of what is going on in the world now, it does have to do with like history and generational and all those issues.
Yeah.
And so the work that you do in particular, I think is so important in helping the whole world to heal, because we are, our generations past, all those who have come before us, it's like they're calling to us to help them to heal, to help them to be what they couldn't be in their lifetimes, and to heal all of it at this point. So it's really very beautiful.
And that really inspired me to continue to deepen my work as a transformational mentor, also quote unquote self-love catalyst. I catalyze people sometimes, out of nowhere. So what I'm going to say here, Mercury Retrograde. So what happened is I love supporting women. I love to see them shine. I love for them to hone in their soul's innate gifts. So they are stepping into their gems in all different areas of their life, relationship-wise, health, whatever wise. It does not have to limit to career. Mm-hmm. And with authenticity, because authenticity is so important. I mean, this lifetime is way too short for us to pretend that we don't know ourselves, And I just feel like the name I give it to my business is called Metamorphosis. I put a Jane Yang in front of it because to continuously inspire myself to go through this process, so it never ends. And so my job is to kind of like midwifing these beautiful women through the caterpillar stage of going through that chrysalis, right? That chrysalis is very gooey, it's dark, it's vulnerable, it's scary. And you need a safe space to be there. So I midwife them through the chrysalis stage. And even when they turn into the butterfly, it's still, the wings is small, it's still wet. Yeah. So that's a process I'm holding space for them so they feel safe to tapping into their own courage, their faith, to trust life more. Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's wonderful. And I've had the honor and privilege of experiencing your healing gifts personally. And Jen, I have to tell you, I'm honored to tell you that after experiencing your gift of healing and all that came through you for me, it's made a huge difference in how I've shown up. So when you talk about authenticity, thank you. It's really, it helped me to get even more in touch with who I am, because I love who I am. And yet at the same time, there have been stages in my life where I was afraid, like very much afraid to be who I am, to own that, which is Bev and afraid of it, and a little bit very judgmental. I've gone through my own stages of judgment, coming to this unconditionality. And for me, that is the work that you do. You're right. It's like bringing women from that state of judgment and self-criticism and lacking the love that we could have for ourselves, and bring us through into the space where we can be authentic and learning what self-love really is, how to take care of ourselves in all different ways, and to both heal and then also remember how powerful we are, because it's both, part of it is healing, and then there's this other part of really embracing how powerful we are, and then helping others with our gifts that we have.
And I can't resonate more than enough, because for the longest time I have been pretending somebody that I'm not. And I've been seeking outside validation, achievement or material success, or in whatever way possible, not till the point where I feel like enough is enough. I suffer enough in order to have the courage to look within myself and to see all the bullshit that I've created for myself, like how much you've denied yourself, or how much you have lying to yourself, abandoning yourself. And it's part of the process of seeing those truths. But also allow them to become your brilliant source to turn the bullshit around. Like, okay, now I can do something about it once I own it. Yeah.
I love that. Oh my gosh. Yes. And thank you, because that's one of the things that has definitely happened for me, because I've always considered myself to be radically honest with myself because of, the recovery where I've come from, the darkness that I was in. I had to be radically honest. And yet there were still parts of me, little subtle parts, that I didn't really want to look at. And going through the process with you, and also sharing this book collaboration as well with you and the other authors and everyone who showed up with their gifts, it's helped me to understand that there are still these little pockets within me that I need to look at, because my outside world is going to reflect what's on the inside. And so if I'm not truly happy with what's on the outside, this is the place to look. Like you said, it's not for validation somewhere else or achievement or anything else. I have to look inside. And thank goodness, Jen, that there are people, amazing teachers and mentors and self-love. What do you call yourself? Catalyst. Yes.
Yeah.
A self-love catalyst who can help us to come into that place, because it's a journey that's really tough to try to do on your own. You really need someone who can help you see who you are, your magnificence, because that's something that it took me a long time to see, and it was only with other people's help that I could truly see how great. And now I get to do that for other people as well, and you do as well. And I love what you say about, at a certain point, it's just like, okay, this bullshit, that's enough. Enough. It's like, and then sometimes you can say it's enough, and then you don't know what to do. Right. So when you work with women and they show up and you can tell that they're willing, if not ready, at least willing, how do you initiate them into this self-love? How do you catalyze them? What would you say is your greatest gift in terms of catalyzing this self-love?
Wow. Okay. So that's a really beautiful inquiry, by the way, Bev. So number one, if they are already open up to be willing to experience, I would say feel the feelings. Because we're so much in the mental space, we're caught up here. We're not willing to feel. We just want to jump in and analyze, like, why does it happen to me, and why it happened this way, and how am I going to face it, and how am I going to push forward? And those are okay with willpower, but it only lasts for so long. So in order for us to really break through, sometimes we need a little bit of breakdown first in order to break through. So when breaking down, aka meltdown, sometimes is allowed, right? So like allowing yourself to feel that tender heart and know, yes, it's hard. It's not easy, and then let that little kid inside of you feel safe first before you want to even do anything to make a giant leap forward. It's totally fine not to do anything at all, but acknowledge and seeing yourself and hearing yourself first before we're expecting other people will do the same for us, So allow the feelings to be there. And once it is, the feeling itself is kind of like a living entity, if you want me to say that.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And, feelings can never be buried alive. So when we're allowing ourselves to feel how we feel, even though it's super uncomfortable, but there's that breakthrough. And everyone is different. Everyone's different. Yet there's so much potential. There's so much potent opportunities are behind that feeling.
Absolutely.
So I'm holding space for them to going through those chrysalis, dark, gooey, uncomfortable, vulnerable time.
Great.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I love it, because what I hear from you is that, and what I receive from you is permission to feel that, and also a knowing that I'd be okay. Like I could go all the way through the feeling and it would be all right. It wasn't something that I was going to die from, like you said, even though it might be really uncomfortable. Yeah. And when you have someone who can assure you or help to hold that space so that they know that they're safe, that they can get through it, and it will be good. And Jen, I know one of the things that I also was really loved about the healing work that you did with me is the like being in the wisdom of the body. And I know that you talk about that. And I know we have other authors in the book who are talking about that too. So please talk a little bit more about that, because the wisdom of our body, it's one of the things that I, as a spiritual woman, had left out for so long in my life. So I love that we're bringing this forward about the wisdom in our bodies.
Okay, so look at me, like I'm touching my heart here. I didn't even plan to do that, but like my hands just go up to my heart chakra here, like soothing it, right?
Yes.
So our body knows. Our body's intelligence sometimes way undermined or underestimated, just because the mainstream world is so much about honoring the logics, the linear, the intellectual, right?
Yes.
And I so honor the author Anna, what's her name? Vickery?
Vickery, yes.
Right.
Anna
She
Vickery,
is
yes.
beautiful at her sacred work of bring women to heal, their relationship with their body.
Yes.
And for me, I'm a total, a nerd, a nerd in terms of, diving into the body wisdom. So I love to just allow the body to connect with you on the energetic level. So say, for example, a raw example, last week, I had that terrible grief that came from nowhere from my friend's son passed away. I had to allow my body to process because my mind couldn't understand. Like, you just texted me yesterday and today you're gone. Like, my mind couldn't process.
Yes.
So my body needs to take on the lead of processing the pain. So it transmutes to a place of neutrality. So I'm able to show up however I am willing to show up for. So let the body do the movement, do the energetic release. And don't even care about what the form looks like, because we are all engineered in a certain way that our body knows how to move. We just have to trust it. So, because I used to work in cubicles, for the longest time in the corporate setting.
Yes.
And it was almost impossible for me to really allow myself to own my body intelligence. So throughout the years, I've been actively allowing myself to dance more, to feel more, and I see definitely a lot of treasure underneath.
Beautiful, beautiful. Love that. We got so much energy going around the world here. It's great. It's like I can see that the screen looks a little bit fuzzy. So if y'all out there are experiencing the same thing, it's just because we're moving a lot of energy here. So it's just kind of the way that it works. And Jen, it's about time for us to wrap up. So before I know you have a special gift for everyone here, whether you're watching live or will catch the replay. I wanted to let you know, though, that we are the book, the Wild and Wise Women Around the World, where 10 inspiring women unleash their wild. That's stories of these different women, their courage, their vulnerability, their triumphs, their victories, the darkness that they've traveled through, and now the light that where they are, and sharing and being willing to inspire all of you. So our book launch is on June 30th, and I'll be putting a link to the online book launch event in the comments here. So we'd love to have you join us. All you need to do is click on that and say that you're going or interested, and then on the day of the event, we'll give you more information on how to get the book. And Jen, thank you so much for joining us as an author. I mean, I'm so honored that you're here, that you're with us, that that all 10 of you are. And I know it's by divine appointment. Nothing that I engineered or that I came up with. It's the 10 of you were called into this project, and now we have this amazing book that's coming out. So please tell us a little bit. There's two things. So one, share with us what you're going to, because all of you authors are amazingly generous. So share with us what you're going to have as a giveaway, as an incentive to help, sell more books, because all of royalties are going to a charity. So please tell us, first of all, what you're going to be offering those who buy a book and have a chance to win. And then also your special gift that you have for us in closing.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Well, number one, thank you, Bev. I just want to say thank you for just inviting all our energies. It is an energy, collaborative project on this book. And I'm so honored to be here to share my message. So what I would love to offer for any one of the readers who buys a book, I call this Compassion, Radiance, Energy Healing session. So where I will tune into your energy, scan your chakra systems, and bring you back to your natural state. So there you're opening up space to invite more compassion and your own radiance to be embraced. So that will be my offer. And to close, I would love to share a ancestor prayer for the viewers here, which is something that I have been using for the past 3.5 years, which has been helping me quite tremendously. So if you may, you can close your eyes with me and then say the prayer. So to all my beautiful ancestors, both known and unknown, please know in my heart that I love you. Thank you for protecting me, my family, and our home. Thank you for guiding me on my path and putting me in position to be of service to others in alignment with my highest purpose. Thank you for forgiving me for everything I've done in the past or present that has made any negative karma between us. Thank you for blessing me with more courage, more wisdom, more trust on this path, and more resources to support me to go forward. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you. Oh, thank you.
Wow. And so it is. Beautiful, Jen. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's a beautiful, healing, lovely, joyful.
So for anyone who wants to really reconnect with their roots, with their ancestral line, they can use a prayer or something like that to really tap in. You never know what's going to happen.
That's where the miracles and magic come in.
Right.
So thank you so much for sharing your magic with us, Jen. You are extraordinary. Yeah. And I am so excited about this book and for more and more women to know who you are, your work in the world, and how extraordinarily healing you are. Compassion and radiance, both of those words are absolutely who you are. So thank you so much for joining us and everyone else out there.
Thank you so much, Bev. Thank you, everyone.
Right. Thank you. Until later. Bye for now.
Bye.